Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show, live from the Outside Offer Studio in beautiful downtown Victoria, Texas. Brent Ash, Commander.
The Atzenhower dealership serving Victoria, a South Texas tradition for more than 100 years. It's amazing when you think about it in today's world. Hopefully we have good sound.
Hopefully we do.
We're very excited. Ricky King, Mark Kurtz, Scott Tomka, the first three in, Greg Garcia, looking for a woman. Come on. Where are the ladies?
Wasn't that a country song?
Waiting on
a woman.
There's
That's
Rena
what
Shear.
Rena
Hello,
I knew
Rena.
Rena would be in first.
I
Good
love
morning,
Rena
everybody.
Shears. You got to love Rena Shear.
Yep. Tammy Keeling, Monty Howard, Bobby Leister.
Sweetheart.
We got a nice message from our friend and your friend as well yesterday, Randy Gutenberger.
Yeah, what did he say?
Passing through and
Didn't want to see us.
didn't want to see us.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Sure. Yeah, you get those people and they're saying, I'm coming into town. I'm like, well, you want to have lunch? Oh man, I'm already on the north side.
Yeah.
I'm already on my way back to Houston. I see how that goes down. I'm with that.
Yeah.
Well, we do that too. We all do that. People, you lie if you say you don't do that. You got that cousin in Waco. Hey, I just thought about you. Oh yeah, I'm in the area. I'm in Temple now. You know.
So the sound is kind of better, but not as good as yesterday.
I don't understand that.
understand
Like
it
nothing
either.
has changed. And I wonder
Well-
if we would have broadcast for 24 hours straight, if at some point the sound would have deteriorated.
Your monitor got plugged back in. I don't know what that had to do with this, but that did change.
I don't know. I can see us on the monitor. I don't necessarily need the monitor. I tell you what, why don't you do this? Why don't you? I know what I'm doing, and I don't think we have any guests today. Why don't you come over and gently unplug said monitor and see if the bad sound goes away?
We didn't unplug it yesterday, did we?
No, we did not unplug it.
But it wasn't working
but it-
properly.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
all right. So now we have see if the sound is markedly better. If it is, then we need
Then we know the problem.
we know the problem. So that monitor is just a monitor. It's not related to this board.
It's just,
But yeah,
it is
just
related to the board.
power
It's so
is
we
that.
can see what we're doing, but it does require power, and maybe that is the problem.
As
I
if.
don't know. So Cody's mic is hot. We'll pull that down a little bit. Thank Ricky King on that one. Wade and Carter Weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Hayfeed and Ranch Services. Stop on by for all you need for your ranch.
Hang
Home.
on.
43 degrees, heading to a high today of 65. So not quite as nice as
Tell them
yesterday.
about the cubes, dog. Tell 'em about the
Temperature, I'm
cubes.
getting there, but still going to be a nice day. No rain in the forecast. Should be sunny and 65 today. Thomas More cattle cubes on sale for $1 off. And they've got Thomas More wild bird seed as well. So stop by Dealings for the Thomas More cubes. I think they're a great cube.
Scott Tomko says the cracking noise goes along with his ankles and knees, so it just doesn't bother him. I respect that.
Yeah.
I resemble that. You know, Scott, you're the first person I'm going to say this to. We're coming up on the 45th year reunion of the class of 81. And I don't say the Victoria High class of 81 because reunions are notoriously weakly attended. And the reason is ego, right? You don't look like the cheerleader you were 45 years ago. You didn't become the billionaire that you told everyone you were going to be. So you don't come and hang out with your friends. And what we're going to do as the Victoria High class of 81 is we're going to host a reunion get together. These things become more and more focused around a bar and some charcuterie and all that. We're going to do it, say, and we haven't determined exactly yet, but the classes of, say, 78 to 84.
Yeah.
Let's go 3 on either side of us. And we're going to open it up to St. Joe and Stroman. And just say, hey, come on in. We all shared that moment in time. back when Stroman was way across town and you didn't realize it was 10 minutes from your house.
Yeah, less
It
than
was
2
just
miles.
as close as it was to Victoria High. But that's coming. Probably won't be until the fall, but just giving you a heads up that if you're interested at all, reach out and talk to me. Arthur O'Brien comes in and says, "Hey, boys, my Pats are back. Did you miss us? Texas bringing their thermals." I tell you
Your
what.
Bruins are back too, OB.
Yeah, Arthur, we have a buddy, Ash and I here, that local kid that is the West Coast scout for not the West Coast, like the western half of the United States, Utah, all the way to Oregon, all that, Washington State. He is the West Coast scout for the New England Patriots. I'll hook you guys up. He's a great friend, young man that went to high school with my son.
Yep.
Great kid.
Good family.
Super knowledgeable. You'll remember back about a month ago that linebacker, whoever that kid was, that shoved his coach, and it came out on TV, and it's like they said it just tanked his draft stock. Landon had a report on that kid and said, way too high strung, high motor, but not properly directed internally. This is a kid I would pass on. I think he's trouble. It was uncanny how he just nailed the kid straight up, and you don't expect that level of objective observation and maturity from a 25, 26-year-old kid.
That's why he's where he is.
That's why he's where he's at. Arthur O'Brien says, "Sure, I can show him around town." I'm not sure, OB, that we need this young man running around
Sacramento
with a guy from Boston. I don't know if that's the answer. The guy when you see the guy at the bar with the rosary beads who's buying drinks for everybody, that means OB lost a cousin somewhere.
Or a bet.
Yeah, in Hartford. So yeah, a bet. Yes.
Jordan Glass checking in. Torn Bales. Kelly Frummy says VHS Class of 86 reunion October 10th.
There you go.
Amanda Diebel, good morning. Junior Samples, Scott Snow, David Glass, Dana Moore de la Garza, Michael Patton, Tommy Kingston.
If you tell me that Tommy Kingston's in transition and he's turning into Tammy Kingston, I mean, he always had pretty good legs, but I don't think Tommy Kingston is going to be wearing any Jimmy Choos and a skirt.
Just a complete speak gaff.
Just a gaff.
Yeah. Randy Langston, Mark Cepeda, Lisa Poole, Justin Glass, John Anderson, Kathleen Leininger. Glad you're all in this morning. Glad you're checking in.
Lisa
Mike
Poole
Plasky, good to see you, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Lisa Poole reached out to me
Andrew
yesterday.
Alvarez, yep. Linda Christ.
I don't think Lisa understands the scope, the breadth of this program. And I'm just going to share it with you because it's worth sharing. And we love some Lisa Poole.
There's my brother Corey. Good morning, Corey.
She sends to me via text, "Hey, any chance we could have bingo on a Wednesday this month? Lots happening on Thursdays. Just a thought, suggestion." And I'd sent back, "I'll be honest. There's so much going on, we haven't even mentioned bingo. I'll try and address with Ash manana." So I'm addressing this with you now.
The Lisa Poole Palace Bingo
I was going to say, we have
update.
40,000 listeners, and Lisa Poole says, "Hey, can we make, I'm a little busy on Thursdays. Can you move Wade and Carter Bingo? Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. You'll be thrilled if you get
You don't
in
have to wait for Wade and Carter night. Lisa, you can go any night of the week that suits your busy schedule.
Night. You can wear your Wade and Carter t-shirt, and you've got one, and you can go right into Palace Bingo and get you a double meat, double cheese burger.
You could go Friday at 11:30 in the evening after you go to bourbon night somewhere.
I like to, when I order a hamburger out there, I like to get a double meat just so the vegans don't win. I'm canceling out one of the vegans when I get a double meat.
Crystal Map checking in. Sherry Jacobs, good morning.
Sherry Jacobs will be there when Lisa Poole bingo night happens.
For the right cost, that name could be permanent.
She could be.
She could be
you know what? For the right price, she can set the date.
Scott Tomko says we're friends.
Meet Lisa. Palace Bingo, where Lisa makes friends. Come on out and share the. Yeah, Junior Silva says, "Get him, Lisa. Show up to his house at 2 a.m."
She already does that.
She does that. No, Lisa Poole's
Kidding.
a great friend for men.
Kidding.
I tell you what, she'll be at that reunion.
Yeah.
I've known her all those years.
Renee Medding, good morning.
I'd like to welcome in everybody listening on the No Bull Network.
Yeah, if you're in Hogg County, B County, Carnes
Frio,
City, we're glad you're all
Atascosa.
here, everybody in the 9 counties that make up the
Absolutely.
Noble Network.
Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzales.
Glad you're here. Where do you want to start this morning? Where do you? I think we got to
I
start
think
with
we got
that
to
one.
start with one of the top stories. Aside from what I think is the top story, that at the moment, an American military insurgence into Iran has been averted. Donald Trump yesterday saying that there seems to have been a slowing, a cease of the killing in. Hang on a sec. Go ahead. Ash is blowing on my mic connection. There seems to have been a cease in the killings in Iran, and that they had decided there was no beheadings or.
But if that was the case, why did Iran not turn the internet back on and the phone communications for the people of Iran? Just
Because they're not a freedom of speech society. It didn't do any good. It's still popping. I mean, what the hell,
I don't
Cody?
know.
We got to find a way to fix this.
And it was still doing it when that was on, or that was off?
Yes, sir.
I'm tired of this garbage. Lilo, you're over there at the mothership at Magic 95.9. Tell you what, bring me some value, brother. Let's get Lee over here.
We
Get
gotta figure
somebody
this
over here
out,
that can
yeah.
figure this out, because we have too many listeners to have to suffer through this garbage. And by the way, it's our equipment. It's not Magic's problem, but Lilo's
We don't
the
have
guy that can
our
help.
expertise is run
I
its
don't like
course.
giving you people these pearls of wisdom only to be fettered by the
Yeah,
by
I
the
don't know what the
internet.
problem is. And it's not, and I mean, it's intermittent, and it's only been for the last few months. I don't know
like
what the
Bobby
problem is.
Lasher said, fixed for one
Yeah.
day.
And I don't get why, because all we did was plug mics in or unplug mics and plug them back in yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just did that, and it didn't fix it. So
Makes
there's
no
no rhyme
sense.
nor reason for what's going on here.
Push up the Bluetooth and we'll share with you. By the way, that to me is the top story, that Donald Trump, for the moment, has decided that he's not going to
Blow
take
up Iran.
military action against Iran. So,
Well, he's too busy dealing with the cartels in Mexico right now.
absolutely. Hey, I tell you what, you want to talk about changing the Western Hemisphere, changing. It's just amazing.
Well,
And
here's the ripple effect of Mexico as well as Venezuela. We talked about it yesterday, and we're chastised for our illogical logic, Captain, from a Dr. Spock. But if you disrupt the cartels, you disrupt the fentanyl supply, you disrupt the meth. All of those ingredients originate in China. The cartels are as in bed with China as Venezuela is, and it's also because of illegal immigration. But I don't know.
well, you could make the argument that we should just put a tariff on those drugs, and then the drug addict, according to some, would be paying the tariff, and maybe they could price themselves out of addiction.
Out of the market, maybe
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Let's
I
play
know.
this, so you'll be interested. This is Senator Josh Hawley in a Senate hearing with a Dr. Verma in D.C. So I'm going to play this. And I hope-
Not a Dr. Verma from Victoria, as far as I
No.
know. This one grew up in North Carolina. This is somebody who's board certified and I think sits on the board of OB-GYNs as well.
So yeah, this lady is a gynecologist. Okay, so listen to this.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the
The
question.
goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men
I
get
take care
pregnant?
of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you, you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a
totally
doctor. I
agree.
think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes, no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
what you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my
saying
question. it sounds like.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is
Having
not
one right
putting
now,
us
lady.
into trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not
people
trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
We're joined now.
Is
What
that not just unbelievably maddening? I mean, is it just, and by the way, I'll tell you this, I feel the same way at times dealing with the obstinate, antagonistic idiocy of certain individuals that follow our program. I just choose daily to ignore them. Daily, it's a chore to ignore the idiocy. But clearly, nobody believes that men can get pregnant. Junior Simple says, I'd like to see her do a pap smear if the crackers got in the way. Clackers?
Clackers.
Got in the way. To say, no, there's no doubt that it's because of the screwed up nature of our society these days via the left, there's no doubt that people say, well, it's conflated and it's a political move. Hey, why can't you just say, well, no, of course men can't get pregnant. That doesn't mean that you couldn't, in theory, pump a dude full of enough hormones, remove his man bits, create a space where you could implant an egg, yada, yada, yada. But at that point, he's no longer a man. The yes or no is undeniably obvious. And the fact that somebody who calls themselves, who's qualified, board certified as a doctor, to go into a Senate hearing.
You think her practice just had a whole bunch of people call this morning going, yeah, I'd like my records transferred from Dr. Verma's office to Dr. Jones, Dr. So-and-so, whatever. I mean, did her testimony inspire any confident ladies? Because I can't go to an OB-GYN because I'm a man.
That's crazy. It's just.
Let me ask any of you ladies, if this was your doctor, would you be going back to her?
Or would you go back and go, way to give him hell, Dr. V? I mean, what an idiot. And the idea that this happens at a Senate hearing at the nation's capital? Why do these people are crazy, unhinged, illogical, ignorant idiots.
I blame the movie White Chicks.
Why
I think that started it all. Because anybody who thought the Wayans brothers were attractive white women in that movie
Right.
was delusional, and it started the whole thing.
Patrick John Welder says, the only time I thought I was having a baby was when I was 2 months into the carnivore diet. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, when everything goes from soft serve to pellets, it's not pleasant. Yeah. But it's crazy town. And you hear the same stuff all the time. I heard a guy the other day, for example, and I want you to think about this. The left is the master at mixing these scenarios to make them make sense. But a guy said, look, the majority of car accidents at night and things, if they involve DWI, driving while intoxicated, if you want to eliminate drunk drivers killing sober drivers, what you do is you just eliminate sober drivers. You just say that no more sober drivers are allowed on the streets. And immediately your brain goes, that is so ludicrous. I mean, that's the dumbest thing you could ever say, Brent. That's the exact argument for gun control. It's the exact argument for gun control. Well, if you want to eliminate gun deaths, the only thing to do is just get rid of all the legal guns. Just get all the guns. Same exact argument. Makes absolutely no sense. Are you going to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Let's take that break.
Do it. Don't be afraid. Embrace the break. Brand us. Commander Cody here yesterday. We spoke it into being. It's almost as if he's the Archangel Michael. I reach over and I say, look, we need to be able to promote Restoration House Ministries. And Cody goes, bam, it's already on the website. So you can go to our website. You can find the link to get tickets to whatever the Restoration House is putting on. It's perfect. Brandes can do that for you and your business. Unbelievable. He does amazing things daily for us. This graphic you're seeing, he created this morning. Thank you, Cody. USA Concrete Coatings, whether you want to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it. Dawn said, you guys need to mix up your ads. You need to make them more interesting. They become robotic. What else do you want me to tell you? If you've got cracks in your driveway, they'll level it. If those cracks are still there, they'll seal them. Then they can put a tough as nails polyurethane coat on top of that makes it look brand new, better than new. And it won't crack, stick, peel, or fade.
Won't do any of that.
It's what they do. Get by Veracruz Restaurant today, post Caldo Wednesday, Thursday. Everything is there today. If you went in yesterday and had the Caldo on a wonderful, cool, Caldo-worthy day, today's a great day to go in and have a drowning enchilada. Right?
Good call.
Drowning enchilada with the best queso in town draped over a big old burrito-looking thing. It's great. It's a gut bomb extraordinaire. Patrick John Welder, that will clean you out. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. If you're anywhere in the No Bull Network, Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzalez, Carnes, any of them, call Allen's Wrecker Service. He'll help you get back on the road. The chopping block.
Baseball sirloin, $6 each.
Dawn and I split 2 of them last night. So I had said, let's go grab a bite to eat. She said, why don't we stop by the chopping block? I said, okay. 2 big old pieces of sirloin for $6 each. Went home, cooked them on a flat griddle, and it was fantastic.
They've also got the fresh chuck cuts. That's great for stews and things like that, but people are eating them any way they want. Boudin, lots of boudin. The barbacoa boudin was in on Saturday. It's always flying off the shelves. They limit you now to 4 links a person just because it's so popular. And there's cream cheese stuffed Terra's Majors. Very good.
There you go.
So,
White Trash Services, encouraging you to begin new trash pickup service in all of the No Bull Network regions. You make a 1-year agreement. They give $25 to your local fire department, your volunteer fire department. 2 years, they'll lock your price in for 2 years and make a $50 donation. This is not a contract, just a service agreement. You make I'll be with you for 3 years. They'll still lock your price in for 2 years, but they'll give $100 to the local volunteer fire department of your choice.
Choose white trash for fire department cash. It's that simple.
There you go. That's enough. That's enough ads right now. We don't, I watch these other people, and I like them. I like a Matt. What's his name? Matt Berry.
Michael Berry.
Yeah, that guy. I like him. He's good
When he's on.
His opinions often are a lot like ours, but he's got some credibility because he's in Houston. He's got a huge audience, but his show is about 80% ads. And he's a guy, he does testimonial ads like we do. But Cody, he'll be talking and he'll say, well, this guy did this and this and this, and that's crazy. Well, I was just talking to my buddy Frederico, who does concrete, the other day, and you can reach Frederico at blah, blah, blah. And it's an ad. It's mixed in with his bit, but he puts an ad in for his guy. And it's funny because if you tune in a 15-minute segment, honest to goodness, you might get 4 minutes of Michael Berry. The other 11, you're just like, are you kidding me? Because my brain says this guy is just making bank. Because he's in the Houston
So what are we
market.
doing wrong?
Well, first of all, that's why we're growing our footprint. We've got, say, 40,000 listeners. He's got 400,000 listeners, and that will increase your rates.
Absolutely. So I think it's interesting that greenhouse gas emissions in this country apparently went up a little bit in 2025, and they're blaming AI data centers and all these, basically the computer industry. It's funny how the global alarmists aren't calling for fewer of them, right?
Right.
They still think that automobiles and people moving about are the problem. When this report that came out basically attributed it to the increase in data centers in this country, and because we're having to get more coal-fired power plants online, that was also the reason for the greenhouse gas emissions going up.
And here's a
but
spoiler
this
alert.
is interesting.
They don't matter. Don't worry about
Not
the
really,
greenhouse gases.
I mean, we need carbon dioxide. We need it. Plants thrive on it.
It's not hurting.
But I find it interesting that there was a little bit of an uproar when those two generators went in on the north side of town off Main.
Yeah,
and
it
the
used
noise
to be
they
an
were
auto
making.
parts place, and it's right
Wrecker.
across from Spring Creek
Yeah.
there at on Main Street.
But San Marcos City Council met earlier this week to request rezoning a 200-acre property for a data center that was previously rejected. And their planning commission wanted to rezone it based on the request of the people wanting to put in the data center. Whole bunch of people turned up and said, we don't want it.
$15 billion data center. I guess
In
the idea
Leon
Cody's
County.
here-
I don't even know where Leon County
That's
is.
San Marcos, I think.
Is it?
Cody's here to chime in. Cody, these data centers, so that AI, while very useful when used correctly, by the way, the government, Grok, working ahead of government intervention, has decided that you can no longer use AI to, for example, remove the clothes of Jennifer Aniston. You can't put people's faces into an AI model, and it's going to be.
You don't need AI to do that.
Well, that's
I'm
true.
Just an imagination.
Right, but that's the point. You can see where that's going is that people are creating. Leon County.
Leon County's up over by College Station, but I'm just
Okay.
saying the 200 residents showed up there because they want a $15 billion.
And by the way, that may
they
be
don't want
all
it.
the people in Leon
That might
County.
be all of it.
But Cody, why does AI, in quotation marks, why does it demand so much power?
It's just the amount of computing that has to happen for it to scan things. A lot of these centers have also been crypto mining, and so they're using kind of double the power and double the infrastructure.
Right.
That, we have that thing on Main Street that used to be a salvage yard. That
Yes.
looks
It's on the left up there, just north of
right.
Mockingbird.
Right. That's a crypto mining facility.
Do you know that I'll never understand?
And
you know, I'll never understand the allure of or the reality of crypto. I just won't. When you ask somebody, well, I've got a Bitcoin. Okay, well, what's it worth? And they put a dollar amount on it.
Right.
So the only reason it matters is we can put a dollar amount on it. Nobody ever says, I bought a car. Well, how much did it cost? 1/10 of a Bitcoin. I mean, nobody says that. So it's not, to me, it's not a real currency. It's just a made up commodity that people trade.
It's not government backed. So if we were ever to become a, unified government,
And you've got to say that
whatever.
really slowly, because if you tell me that something's government backed, it doesn't necessarily give me a lot of comfort.
Well, that's what the Bitcoin people would say as well.
Amen.
You know what's interesting too with all this, though? They're complaining about the greenhouse gases. I think the more alarming issue for the planet is the water that these data centers require to cool. They're pulling water.
Right.
California is trying to come up with water projects and rediverting water for their data centers. It uses a ton of water. The greenhouse gases, negligible. You really think that, what was it, 2% increase in greenhouse emissions of the U.S. is going to make a difference globally? Nope.
Yep.
With a lack of water for 330 million people.
Quick justice aside, Fort Worth, Texas, police have accused Evan Banda, 17, a suspect in 5 alleged vehicle arsons, of being associated with an overseas extremist group, pronounced Muslim, that posted a viral video depicting a masked man threatening several schools. Investigators say Banda provided footage of Crowley Middle School for the video. That guy, if convicted, put him down. Lethal injection, goodbye. Don't need you. There you have it. Austin, Texas. University of Texas at Austin received a $100 million donation for its new medical center from local residents Tench and Simone Cokes. Tench Cokes is a member of AI chip manufacturer NVIDIA
Yep.
board of directors. Just gave him a quick $100 million.
Well, and that's how these tech people are kind of culling favor and swing favor. They donate to things that the leftists like. And so they look past it, but then they blame you and me for driving our pickup trucks for causing the problems.
Yeah, Linda Chris, and this really plays right into our audience at Corpus Christi at KTMV. South Texas is low on water. It's about to become a major problem. It is a major problem in Corpus Christi.
Absolutely. Let's see what else. Randy Langston says crypto mining is nothing more than being a credit card processor
At home. Speaking of credit cards, you hear this, Donald Trump. I'd like your feedback on this. I mean, the same people that are going to say this is government interference, government overreach, are the same people that say that the government ought to pay off your credit card debt.
Yeah.
Ought to pay off your student loans. Donald Trump saying banks.
Because this is predatory lending, but student loans isn't.
He's calling for a 1-year 10% cap on credit cards to give people a chance to pay down their balances. The American public has something like 1.7 trillion with a T, as in terrible,
Yeah.
George Bush, terrible, balance on their credit cards.
In the last year alone, according to Josh Hawley at testimony in Congress, and I think that testimony was a year ago.
Yes.
So 2 years ago, credit card companies issued over 700 million credit cards to Americans in that year.
Over 2 credit cards for every person living in the United States.
Think about that. That includes babies,
Yeah.
people under 18 who can't get a credit card, people with bad credit who can't get a credit card, although they seem to be giving credit cards to almost anybody.
But they're calling it usury, Ash. They're saying if you're going to charge one of the cards, Holly pointed out, the average rate on their credit cards was 29%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's usury.
That's the average rate for credit cards in this country. It's crazy. And when you look, and 4 years ago, according to Senator Hawley in this testimony, because he has introduced a bill, him and Bernie Sanders are on the same page on this one. That worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Bernie's
4 years
wife is
ago, prior to this testimony, so really 5 years ago, the average credit card interest rate was closer to 15%. It's doubled, almost doubled
In like
in
5 years.
in 5 years, 4 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, Jennifer Rayburn points out Trump is doing it as an ask. It's a bipartisan effort that's been in talks for a few years but never got legs under it.
But here's the problem I see with this. What's a 1 year 10% cap going to do? Are people really going to reduce their credit card debt? Because part of the reason some of these cards get issued, people move their balances around. They'll get a 0% interest balance for 15 months, so they'll take their average credit card balance. I think last year was about $9,000 per person in this country or something like that. They'll take that, they'll move it over here, get no interest on it for 9 months.
But they don't really pay it down.
They pay it down a little bit, but then they charge it back up, and then they move it to another one the next year when that 0% interest is no longer there. But I don't know that this is going to do anything because, and part of the reason here is banks have been encouraged by Congress to provide more loans, credit cards, to people who never used to get a credit card. You used to have a really good credit to get a credit card.
Well, see, so Patrick Strauss points out that his credit card statement says if I pay the minimum amount, it'll take 27 years to pay it off. And the reality is that is there much like the disclaimer or the advertisement that is on a carton of cigarettes. It's there to let you know.
And Congress forced them to put that disclaimer on the statements.
Now, Patrick Strauss,
but it hasn't changed anything.
He travels a lot, and he's going to come back and show you that he'll pay that balance off. But when he got the credit card bill, it told him it'll take you 27 years.
Yeah.
Trey Molina pointed out that crooked Christie, that would be Corpus to the locals, are in denial about their water crisis. And Kathleen Leininger asks, I don't understand why Corpus doesn't have a desalination plant up and working for their residents. The problem is not so much, they're trying. It's the 30 million gallons a day of brine discharge and where you put that water. There were folks that wanted to go down towards Port Mansfield and just dump that water into Baffin Bay, which is a unbelievable fishery and one of the last unpolluted, and polluted is not the right word because it's not like I'm talking about oil in the water, but unmanipulated.
No, but it would change the salination of the water.
Which could be terrible for the fishery. Could be great for the fishery, but could be terrible for the fishery. And all people are saying down there is that your for-profit desal plant should go ahead and spend the money to run the pipeline out there to the Gulf and it would dissipate in the Gulf. But people are complaining about the expense. Now realize that right here at our own Lake Texana, they have taken a pipeline. It's like 3 foot in diameter, and they pump water. The city of Corpus owns like the top 4 feet of our lake at all times. And they pump that water to Corpus currently.
I remember when that lake used to be up close to the overpass on 59, and it hasn't been there forever.
Yeah, see, Patrick Strauss giving you the encouragement you need. He says, yeah, I pay it off every month. I haven't paid credit card interest in 30 years.
Yeah.
How many water towers are there in Victoria, Texas now? 2 or 3? There's at least 3.
I think so.
Because there's one by East and one by West High School, and there's got to be another one downtown. There's got to be another one. Yeah. What did you make of Bill Clinton deciding not to go to the congressional? They had subpoenas, and this is regarding details about Jeffrey Epstein. And the Clintons just said, nah, we're not going. This is just a political stunt, so we're not going.
We have 5 water towers.
5
Thank
water
you.
towers. Thank you. John Anderson, there's your answer. 5 water towers in Victoria.
At some point, we'll sell one off to one of the river authorities. And
So
Wow.
Kathleen Leininger with a legit question regarding Clinton's avoidance of he and Bill and Hill, congressional subpoenas, given that Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro were sentenced to prison for contempt of Congress following their noncompliance with subpoenas and failure to testify, what rationale underlies the differing treatment
they're the Clintons.
of Bill and Hillary
That's all there
in a
is to it.
similar context? And shouldn't the principle of equal treatment under the law apply uniformly? I can't imagine that it doesn't, right? I mean, why isn't it the left who accurately screams nobody is above the law?
Except the Clintons.
Interesting.
All you have to do is look at the dissolution of the Clinton Foundation after Hillary lost the election in 2016. And there was no scrutiny. They were a 501c3. The IRS never came knocking.
Right. Solid. Criminal.
You know, on the low end, $50 million in funds just
Just gone.
on the high end, hundreds of millions of dollars of funds just vanished into
Chelsea
thin air.
Clinton still administers part of that.
Oh, they resurrected it
Yeah. Because
after Trump lost in 2020 to Biden because they were probably selling influence and favors. People were donating to the Clinton Foundation to get access to the White House under Obama, under Clinton. But Donald Trump tears down the East Wing and the left goes nuts to put in a ballroom.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable how many projects that's become moot, right? The left got off that. It was a distraction. It was chaos.
It's all a distraction.
They've all been doing that for years. There was a swimming pool. They filled it in. There was a basketball court. It was modified. All these things. Kathleen Leininger's giving us a call. Take it on the blue line. Good morning, friend. Talk to us.
Hey, you know what? The other thing is the liberals, the Democrats, they set the precedent by going after Trump. Why the APWQ are they let off the hook when the egregious material is coming from the Clintons?
That's right. All he's done, all Donald Trump has done is basically say, well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And here we go. You just made me think about something. Has anybody in the room, including you, Kathleen, has anybody heard anything about Letitia James and her falsified data on her home mortgage in New Jersey, which
That's
by
another one.
definition she couldn't live in because she has to live in New York?
Weren't the charges dropped?
It's interesting to me. I mean, they made a big deal about her being a criminal, and all of a sudden I think she's off the hook.
There's a boatload of them. Letitia James, the DA. I don't ask me the names because I just know that there's a boatload of them out there, and
Yes.
the equal application is not there. And on top of that, they were legitimized in going after Trump for things that were not criminal, that they made up as they went along.
There you go. Well, hey,
Hey, how was that English topic?
officially I wasn't allowed to have any by my bride, but unofficially it was tasty. And I got some feedback from my kids who said, please tell Miss Kathleen that we need some more of that. Yeah, so good job. By the way, would you help us get Allison Fox back on the air? I
Yes.
owe her one, and if you can arrange a time when she's in town, I think our audience would be very, very eager to visit with her.
I'm working on that, and I had a question I was going to ask you off the air regarding facilitating that. So
Well, you might as well just ask us. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. She's
Okay.
running for Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, and is extremely qualified, at least on paper. We don't endorse candidates.
Everything I've seen on her, when you compare her to the candidates running against her, I mean, it's hands down. She's the most qualified and the most. I mean, she's the best bet. Basically,
Who's her main competition and why?
I think that it's the person that Paxton is recommending because he wants to stack the course with people that are loyal to him, and that's not a reason for me to vote for that person.
Amen. I like Ken Paxton, but just because somebody got in there and visited with him and got his endorsement doesn't make that person qualified. But I do like we owe Allison Fox another trip around the block, and if you can arrange that, you'll be my hero per usual.
Thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate you.
Kathleen.
Thank you for always listening and tuning in every day.
Kathleen Leininger, great Wade and Carter supporter. Cuba on the verge of economic collapse.
According to the Epic Times, and you know why this is? Venezuela's dried up.
Yeah,
they can't buy their oil from
China
Venezuela.
Aren't there to help them. So China is Cuba's biggest trading partner. Isn't that interesting? Because I'm going to tell you that there are Cuban cigars. You think about Cuba, you think about rum, you think about cigars. There are Cuban cigars. A great
culture of fixing up 1950s Chevrolets and keeping them running for.
That's when they quit coming over there. They are, I'll bet you when you buy Cuban cigars on the market, they're coming from China. Very interesting.
Could very well be.
But Cuba, if Cuba were to, just from a money standpoint, if all of a sudden Cuba was safe, if Cuba was liberated and became at least friendly with the United States, can you imagine the influx of cash to build new resorts and casinos? And it would be like Latino Las Vegas. People would go crazy. What are y'all doing this summer? We're taking a cruise to Cuba. It would be a natural getaway. It's 90 miles from Florida. Can you imagine if you could just go to Cuba?
Well, and here's the thing.
I'd go. I'd love to go.
Americans can. They have to go to Mexico to get over there. They have to go to Canada to do that because Obama lifted those travel restraints and you can't, there's no direct flights from the U.S. But here's the problem. Cuba has turned into such an asshole country.
Yeah.
They were thriving in the 90s through the 2010s on global travel. It's become so bad. Those global people that used to travel to Cuba because it was an inexpensive holiday and they got good food and they got good service, even though you were warned, really don't leave the tourist areas or certainly not at night.
Sure. Well, that's just like New Orleans. So in all fairness, there's places in New Orleans you don't want to.
But they've stopped going because Cuba is so poor and has so little access to anything. The former 4- and 5-star resorts that people used to flock to, food has gotten bad, service has gotten bad, rooms have been broken into.
That's the problem because the people down there are so poor that they resort to stealing. What do you make of the Senate shelves a bill?
Yeah, this is interesting because senators wanted to basically.
Tim Kaine, who's a huge liberal.
Yeah, out of Virginia. Democrats in the Senate were leading a resolution that would have constrained President Trump's ability to direct any military action against Venezuela.
From doing what he did without going to Congress, which, by the way, we already have a leak that's getting data out. If you would have gone to Congress, for sure, people like Tim Kaine would have given President Maduro a heads up.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have been able to go. It drives me batty back to Dr. Verma that the left, Joe Biden was so committed to the fall of Maduro's unrecognized presidency that he put a $25 million bounty / reward.
Because he knew he'd never have to pay it.
Right. But when Donald Trump said, man, I agree with you, Joe, I'm going to go get that guy. When he did that, the left became unhinged. Unbelievable. Donald Trump's going around behind the back of Congress. Well, precedent shows, as we see here.
Yeah, Senator James Reich of Idaho raised a point of order. This tells you how poorly written this resolution was, because he said the War Powers Resolution lacked relevance because U.S. forces are not currently deployed inside Venezuela. So the Senate then voted on that point of order.
Yeah.
And even the senators that voted for the initial resolution,
Said,
the
"Well, that's a good
Republicans,
point."
well, they said that's a good point, and so they voted against for the point of order challenge, and basically it killed the War Powers Resolution because
Well, Senator Rice said no language in this resolution addresses future action. And indeed, the War Powers Act doesn't allow that unless there are ongoing hostilities.
and everybody in there went, "Ooh, hey,
It's that
maybe he's got a
deal
point
where
here."
people try to take existing legislation and twist it. And if there's been one observable fact in this term for Donald Trump, is that legally he has been right on point.
Yeah.
That the serving of a authorized warrant for Nicolas Maduro, supported by military action, which has been deemed in the courts to be constitutional, that is where Donald Trump is really winning, because the left, in their haste that they often use to sling legislation around, has forgotten to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And that's just the way it really has gone. Their hypocrisy is coming back to bite them.
And where was this act when Obama weaponized the IRS to go after a bunch of conservative pundits, talk show hosts, media people? Because, of course, Chuck Schumer now leading and introducing the NOPE Act.
No Political Enemies Act. Now, listen to this. It's a bill they said would protect Americans and organizations from politically motivated federal investigations, prosecutions, and enforcement actions. Now, think about this. Anything they do,
Roger Stone could have benefited from this act.
if Donald Trump cracks down on taxes on the rich, which of course the left adores, they could say this is a politically motivated, like, you have to look at who makes the rules. That goes back to my original problem when George W. Bush, after 9/11, when he said, we have to be able to monitor bad people's cell phones so we can catch the terrorists. Everybody in America said, yeah, go get them, George, without asking who defined bad people.
And who are they listening to get to those bad people? You and me and everybody else in this country who is a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah. Allison Fox checks in and says, I need to get me one of those Wade and Carter mugs. That can be arranged. We want you to come back. Your story is valuable.
Do we owe one more break?
We probably need one more quick, just a quick break.
We probably got a couple that we got to do, so let me get to this real quick.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Sure, our listeners would like it. Be nice if we named those things something. There you go.
They're named properly.
There you go. So I can do this.
You can do that.
There
it is. It's up for everybody.
Folks, Chesnick Furniture, the monitor that we watch is sitting on a big piece of solid hardwood furniture from Chesnick Furniture.
Beautiful desk.
Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Bobby Leon and his family have been serving you and yours for well over 100 years, 80 plus at their current location, and it's still fresh and new because they change the furniture every day. Always. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe. Erica Briggs threatening to come in. I'm going to ask her what she does for people who are contemplating bariatric surgery, and if she's ever worked with anybody who, once they got on her pre-surgery program, determined they didn't need that surgery. That's going to be our next line of questioning with her. Went services for all your generator needs, and also for
you want to mine your own crypto. Went could probably put in the data.
Absolutely.
Or at
But
least all the
also
electricity.
for all your just general electrical needs. You need a new plug, a new outlet, your GFCIs are not working.
You're remodeling a bathroom and you need some?
you can make that happen easily by calling Went Services. I don't know who's under that banner.
Nobody anymore.
There's nobody.
Everything's
under that banner?
moved. Nope.
Wow. Well, that's great.
That's
As
just-
always, Atzenhofer, Dawn has suggested that we create the Wade and Carter deal of the week. And I have no problem with that. It just there's so many vehicles. I think we would want to focus primarily on pre-owned vehicles that
I think we want to focus on Corvettes that you and I get to drive
There
to
you go.
preview for the week.
I like it. I like where your head's at. We're going to try to work on that. The great thing is we're working with, is it Jake at Atzenhofer?
Here's the problem. Remember when I used to point out my used car of the week and then
Yeah,
it would be
it was
gone?
always gone.
Yeah.
Honestly, Cody, he would say, man, there's a good-looking F-250. It'd be a Ford. It'd be a Chevy. It'd be a Dodge. They had beautiful pre-owned vehicles. And all of a sudden, Ash would say, that one's on sale, blah, blah, blah. And like 2 days later, it was gone.
We could bring that back. We were effective.
Yeah, we can do that.
So what do you make of the U.S. freezing all visas for 75 different countries? These are countries where primarily the immigrants from these countries have ended up on the government dole. Donald Trump yesterday basically said that. Some of these countries include Russia, Somalia. I've always wondered why we let Somalis in when that country's only known for piracy and producing pirates.
Well, you make an interesting point because the Trump administration now is saying we're going to start disallowing entry to the U.S. to folks who appear to be, I don't know who does the criteria, but folks who appear to be in need of government assistance. If you can walk up to our border and say, here's my paperwork, it's all in order. I have a cousin in Cincinnati and I have a job waiting for me if I can just get there. You have a better chance of getting in than if you walk up with no paperwork or even paperwork and say, hey, no, I don't have a job.
I've got a better idea. How about you sponsor that person for I don't know how many years so they can't come in here and take a job from an American?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I mean, I think it was a week or so ago, start of the month,
Yeah, we talked
10
about
days
this.
ago, the countries that the percent of immigrant households receiving assistance. Bhutan, 81% of Bhutanese
I've never heard
people
of Bhutan.
are on some sort of government assistance when they get to this country. Somalians are on 72% of aid. And that's not even counting all the fraud out of Minnesota and other states. So I don't have a problem with this. If you're coming here primarily to live off our government,
You shouldn't be let in.
not at all.
And I don't
Government
have
should
a
be-
problem at all with, by the way, taking a year off. Let's don't allow any immigration for a year or two until we get our own situation in hand.
But here's my concern. And the people will say, well, yeah, that money should go to Americans. The problem is, if it's not going to Americans now, why don't we just stop spending it and give it back to Americans in the form of lower taxes, the deficit being paid down? Crazy thoughts, I know.
Yeah.
Why do we have to keep spending this money? Why not pull it back?
I agree. Jennifer Rayburn's saying she's encouraging you to drink the immune boosters and wellness shots that are at Paravita. That's the original location over on Airline. And she says, I'm
Yeah,
microdosing the cure.
I had somebody in there the other day. She's partnering with a new peptide supplier.
You know who
and
that
she,
is?
She was in there
It's
answering questions.
Spring
Is
Taylor.
that Spring? Okay.
Yeah, it's Tommy Taylor's bride. I
Anyway,
like it. It's called Spring Training. We're going to get her on the air to talk about. I don't know enough about peptides. I know that.
Supposedly good for they work at the cellular level to heal.
There you
That's
go.
about all I know about it. 'Cause
I
I
know
didn't,
my
I didn't have. I
cells
was heading to a
need healing.
meeting. I didn't have time to actually sit and visit, but I'm intrigued.
Wait a minute.
I'm intrigued.
Can we get a theme song for her?
Probably could.
Little Marvin Gaye knockoff. When I get that feeling, I need cellular
Cellular healing?
Yeah, I like it.
No.
Cellular.
Hey, folks,
healing.
8 o'clock. We got to roll.
Good for me.
Cody didn't like your
So bad.
I like it.
your parody song. I kind of liked it.
You folks know cellular healing. Going to be in your minds all
day
day
now.
long.
Thank you for that.
Wade and Carter controlling your brains, but at least we're benevolent. Have a great day, and we love you, folks. We're not going to play the music because, it might make the
Yeah,
thing
well,
start smoking. Why not? Live on the edge.
Yep.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.